I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well, teach this truth in all honesty and sincerity. And salutations to you brothers around the four corners of the earth that push this truth in all diligence and sincerity as well. Let's get into a quick lesson about the slaying of the Lord. Because the Lord, he sends that judgment out, who lives and who die, and he was moved to wrath with Israelites quite a bit, being Israel, being the Lord's people. They went off time and time, which moved the Lord to wrath, and he sent that judgment out. And because people don't directly see a swift judgment happen as soon as you commit a sin. They don't connect. They don't connect the sin to the punishment. But we're gonna get a few instances where the Most High brought swift judgment. This is Genesis chapter 38. And I'm gonna start at verse 3. And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And these were the children of Judah. These were the two sons of Judah. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezid when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And it has all caps as Lord. And that means Yahweh, the Almighty, the Father. Verse 8, and Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. Because that was a Israelite custom, or Hebrew custom, yeah. If a man die and he have wife, his closest next of kin would take his wife as his own and raise his children, and also give her a child in honor of the fallen man that was dead. And and today people would look at it and be like, oh no, but that's how you would ensure that the family was looked after properly. And the Lord don't play about what he said, what he said to do. Salaki, man, allergies, that fall weather coming. Verse 9, and Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. So this guy, Onan, he went into his brother's wife, like he had sex with her, but when it was time for him to release his seed, he pulled out and Slovakia. He pulled out and blew his seed on the ground, man. You know, and let's see how the Most High responded to that. Salakia. Verse 10, and the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house till Shelah my son be growing. So Judah was telling his son's widow to just stay at her father's house until my youngest become of age, where he can give seed. You know, he can marry you. So that how people look at it now, keeping it in the family, that's nasty. You know, if one of them died, man, you would go to the next of kin, because women are a possession. And just like when someone dies, they pass off different possessions to another family member. A woman was done the same way. But the Most High killed them, man. The one was being wicked, and the other one on it, he didn't want to like bear seed in his brother's name. And the Most High killed him too. I'm going to Exodus chapter 16. Salakia. That's Exodus 20 and verse 18. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightning and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not Yahweh speak with us, lest we die. Because they was afraid. They had that feeling like they was going to die. You know, Israel, they was going off, and they was just afraid of the power of the Lord. So they, no, Moses, you speak with us. And that's a cut to you people that always talking about some the Lord want me to know something, he'll come and tell me. He'll come and talk to me. The Lord talk to me all the time. No, as if the Lord did, you will die, man. This flesh is unworthy to behold the Most High, man. You know, his voice it would explode your head, man. So we not in those spiritual bodies where we can behold the Most High. You know, and back then the people knew, man. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for Yahweh is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And so that was all healthy to keep them from fearing, because they knew how the Most High got down. You know, he'll slay you, man. This is I'm hopping over to Leviticus the 10th chapter. And it reads, and Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord. That word strange in this context is profane. It wasn't a righteous fire, because the Most High commanded in the book of Leviticus how he showed Moses and Aaron how to prepare the fire, what to burn, and how to step by step. So Aaron's sons didn't want to listen. They wanted to do their own thing and offer up strange fire for the Lord, which he commanded them not to. And there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses said unto Aaron, This is it that the Lord spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me, and before all the people I will glorify. And Aaron held his peace, because you couldn't be unclean and come before the Lord, or you couldn't do nothing, and these were the priests in training. They were being groomed to be in the priesthood, the Levites. Today they would be known as the Haitians, but they were ordained priests. And the Most High, he killed Aaron's sons because they wasn't doing what right. They wasn't doing right. They was offering strange fire. They didn't do it the way the Most High instructed them to. So the Lord got the most bodies, man, out here. Everybody like to give Satan credit for what the Most High does, man. He brings the evil times. What I'm looking for. Get a few more precepts. This is Book of Numbers, chapter 15, and I'm gonna start at verse 32. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath. And they found him gathering sticks, brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and unto all the congregation. And they put him inward, because it was not declared what should be done to him. And the Lord said unto Moses, The man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp, and stoned him with stones, and he died. And the Lord commanded Moses. So the Most High is a big fan of putting people to death, man. Especially going off, man. He will cause you to be put to death. People want to believe that the Lord is all love, and that killing is just the worst thing that you could ever do. Uh, um, let me jump to the book of First Samuel. This is First Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. And yes, he bring you down to the grave. That's hell. Just the ground. That's considered hell, or a lower state, a condition of being in hell. You know, being in hellish conditions. And heaven that's in the air, and also is in rulership position. It's a position of rulership, you know. And the Edomites are experiencing hell. They're going from heaven to hell, and that's what that is. It's not a place where you go in the ground and some red man is poking you in the ass with a pitchfork for the rest of your life. No. Let me get a couple more precepts. This is 2 Samuel chapter 6, and starting at verse 2. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal of Judah to bring up from thence the ark of Yahweh, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. And they set the ark of Yahweh up on a new cart. And the ark of the covenant is just a place where the Spirit of the Lord dwelt. And Israel would take it into battles with him. Yes, and they set the ark of Yahweh up on a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was in Gibeah, and Uzzah, and Ahio, the son of Abinadab, drave the new cart, and they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was at Gibeah, accompanying the ark of Yahweh, and Ahio went before the ark. And David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord on all manner of instruments, made a fir wood, even on harps, and the psalteries, and on timbrels, and on cornets, and on cymbals. And when they came to Nashon threshing floor, Uzzah put forth his hand to the ark of Yahweh and took hold of it, for the oxen shook it. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and Yahweh smote him there for his error. And there he died by the ark of Yahweh. You know, and that's how the Most High will move, man. He will smite you. And it says that it was because of his rashness. Running verse 6 back. And when they came to Nashon's threshing floor, Uzziah put forth his hand to the ark of Yahweh and took hold of it, for the oxen shook it. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzziah, and Yahweh smote him there for his error or rashness. And there he died by the ark of Yahweh. And David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzziah. And he called the name of the place Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of the Lord that day, and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me? So David would not remove the ark of the Lord unto him into the city of David, but David carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. And the Lord can kill you for something as simple as that, or it could be he could let your iniquities pile up. But I'm gonna get another one. 2 Kings. This is 2 Kings chapter 2, and verse 21. And he went forth unto the spring of water and cast the salt in there, and said, thus said the Lord, I have healed these waters. Salakia. There shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. And he went up from thence unto Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. So these children were mocking the prophet Elisha. And let's see what the Lord caused to happen to him. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tare 42 children of them. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. And this is an example of the Lord working through, working the curse upon scoffers and mockers of the men of the Lord. He caused two female bear to come and tear these children to pieces because they mocked the men of the Lord. And so he's gonna do the same and worse to you people that scoff and mock the men of the Lord in today's time, Salakia. But I hope this was an edifying lesson. I'm going to say Shalom and a Baba Ball.